We followed no star, just bright weather, jolted along stony tracks to where hilly terrain began asserting its endurance, its disregard for human muscle. From this point up, we squelched through peat bog, through odors of its genesis. We passed clusters of pleegwyneth, feathers of the moorland. We shambled through green tussocks of grass, colonizers of these sodden hills, sphagnum moss, bilberry and heather, till we heard the dovedrey gathering its voice, toddling in the slopes. We traced its path to the cervix of earth's womb, in the shelter of the theatre. We saw the breaking of her waters. In the distance, the Bedouin is patchy with conifers and moving cloud shadows. The black jumbie bird, brown of the Caribbean, is flapping with the rooks in sycamores that shadow sedges near the river's bank. I have only to turn my gaze, block out the thought, for that bird to fly, fading into some imperceptible space. The sunshine here, just as bright as in a wet season morning in Laventille, is making this calm phrasing of dovedrey flowing around the bend as dazzling as unexpected gifts, words that come from elsewhere, slipping into apt descriptions. If I were now on the bank of Orapooch River near Toko, hearing the macaws echo through forest, could I hold an image of the Dee, taking its time, savouring this part of its valley near Landerville, the screeching of swifts, their tails silhouetted scissors against pale cerulean? It is a curious game, the shrinking of distances. He pushed off that grey stone, Tree Thlus, Cymru, plummeted through the air to where you flex your amber-green muscle of water. He saw the jot of slate too late. Without gills, only lungs a sucking sponge, he sinks past the depth to where the force of light is spent. He feels life dissolve, cloud the water like silt. Later, they will find the body swollen to anonymity. Later, they will get caught up in the awe of death. In that once sepulchral space, pagan sacredness linger, the weight of 10 commandments on wooden tablets suspended over medieval sinners. Death with winged hourglass fixed in yellow ochre on the wall, and among the 7 deadly sins, gluttony surviving as a red boar. I leave this compressed history, come out into a different light. But I cannot read the language of clouds, their play with meaning and the sun. I wonder about their hovering over Clangar, their imperceptible shifting from shades of grey. And what would ancient vision make of this? Icy sunlight subduing the exuberance of celandine, red campion in the hedgerows. Beyond the lich gate, in this place of gnarled ash and ancient yews, there is accommodation more for the dead than for the living. Sinners, they say, are buried on the north side. I pad mown grass among tombstones of slate, test stones notched for kneeling, listen for chanting, the thud of circle dancing feet. From the gloose, fleshing shadows of the yews, I look past the west side of Clangar and the Avon Dovedrey sprawl between pebble banks, moving sedately towards its confluence with the Avon Alban. Only tourists and Caribbean poets stand on this bridge, its memory unfathomable in stone. They stand gazing at the foamy rush of water as though they owned time. But the river, like time, is deceptive to those who wish to hold it with focused eye, give it width and depth and size. The river is the firm rock it negotiates, its sly erosions, the knowledge in its crystal being. The river is the wild trout at home, grey with the water's fluid shadows. From the shingled water's edge, I measure with my gaze how the land bend thee like a bow. A swerve of water dredging its curve, dragging rocks, its surface a white-crested turbulence. Where an alder sucks in the shallows, there's a gathering, flotsam, eddying like legend. Events caught aside by the continuous flow of history. Like the land and the river, the sheep know. They have chapters assigned to them. Two lambs edge nearer to where I stand, avert their heads, sniff the air for my intentions. My ba is inarticulate. The heed of their mothers speak with their tails, skip away. In the hills of Llantysilio, time gave a foothold to Carog, Owen's history. In the village cemetery, an easy breath ruffles a sigh from the ancient yew. Jackdaws chuck, chuck in sycamores, well-rounded syllables of urgency. There's a tenancy agreement for spring. In the distance, the thin rattle of a blackbird's alarm. The sky is fragile blue glass, art nouveau cirrus like salmon shoals. Nearby, the daffodil gargles over rocks at the base of a stone bridge, the same color as the pied wagtails flitting through sedges. This is the place Owen possessed with his eyes, wrapped words around with his fierce love. I stand in the pungency of sheep, hear his rallying cries reverberating through Carog to Glenduffledwy.